What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is a leg day. So if you're curious about how to grow your legs, this is definitely a video you're going to want to watch. I highly encourage you to stick around till the end. There's a lot of good information in this video. If you're a newbie to the gym, if you're experienced in the gym, or you're just looking to maybe try something new, this is a great video. This is a voiceover workout, so I go into detail about everything I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and how it benefits you. So make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Deuces. Alright guys, welcome to the leg day. We will be starting this leg day off pretty much the same as every other leg day with lying hamstring curls. I went a little bit heavier on these again after a warm-up set. I was doing about 8 to 12 reps. Typically I'm in the range of 12 to 15, maybe up to 20. But this is a hard leg day for me because I'm doing legs once this week as opposed to twice. When I do legs once a week, I really give it pretty much everything I got. I'll do 9 sets for hamstrings and 9 sets for quads, and each set is all out. So here's the first set here. As you can see, getting a little bit closer to failure here, trying to squeeze out those last 2 reps. Not sure how many reps that ended up being, but for this video, I will be recording the first and last set of each movement. So here's the last set coming up. When you're doing lying hamstring curls, the one thing that I would encourage you to focus on the most is pushing your hips into the pad as hard as you can. That is just going to help with the way your hamstrings are actually contracting, and it will just provide you with a better mind-muscle connection throughout the movement, and it just makes it a more effective movement overall. You will have to go a little bit lighter than you would typically, but that's always a good thing because it helps your joints. Another reason why I do this first is because it helps warm up my knees. I will do this before any heavier compound movement like a squat or a leg press. Then I do believe I turn this set into a double drop set. I've been doing that with a lot of my movements recently. I'll make the last set of a movement a triple, double, or like a cluster set. Slap. 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 Alright, next movement on the list is going to be a heavy leg extension. So I did 2 little sets with like half the stack just to warm up my knees. And then we go into the full stack for almost as many reps as possible. I treat this kind of like a warm-up for my compound movement, which today was a leg press. But again, getting really close to failure here. When you're doing these, try feeling the movement in the very top of your quads, like up near your hips, and try squeezing through that portion of your leg, and do your best to keep your butt on the seat. If your gym has a leg extension with a seat belt, make sure you're utilizing that seat belt because it will help a lot with the actual contraction of your quads. Slap. 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 All right, on to RDLs here. So we have 275 on. Typically I would go a little bit heavier, but I am just getting back into these, so this is a comfortable, moderately heavy weight for me now. My form looks a little bit weird here because the way this Smith machine like unracks itself is just weird with straps, so I'm like rounding my back trying to get the right range of motion. But anyways, when you're doing these, focus on pushing your butt back instead of just bending over, and then when you're contracting through the movement, try to push your hips forward versus just standing up. That's going to help with your glute and hamstring contractions. Another thing you could try would be pointing your toes inwards a little bit. That will help with the stretch on your hamstrings, as well as elevating your toes. That is also a great way to make the movement a little bit more hamstring bias versus glute bias. Another thing I would encourage you to focus on for this movement would be the eccentric contraction, so on the way down. Watching this back, I do see that I was going a little bit quick on the way down. I would prefer that to be a little bit slower, maybe closer to 3.5 seconds on the way down, and then explosive on the way up. But all in all, I mean, it doesn't look too bad, and this is a great movement to build your hamstring, glutes, and even your erectors for your back.
Slap. Slap.
All right, on to leg press, which will be our compound movement for quads. I have a lot to say about the leg press because I rarely see anybody do it correctly. The leg press is a phenomenal machine for total leg development. However, if you're using it to build your glutes, it's pretty ineffective just because you don't get the range of motion and contraction on the glutes that is as good as something like a hip thrust or an RDL or a glute kickback. It's just not even close to being as good as those. This is really a phenomenal machine for the quads. When you're trying to train quads, what you want is knee flexion. As you can see there, with that range of motion, my calves are getting down to my hamstrings. I could get a little bit lower here, but this machine isn't the best, and I hit like the safety on the bottom, so I can't get any more range of motion. So I'm getting as low as I can without hitting that safety stop there, and as you can see, it's still pretty deep. And then another thing you want to focus on is not resting at the top very much, because that just gives you a chance to kind of replenish your ATP stores and clear lactic acid, which is okay to do that, but you don't want to do it on every single set. So really focus on, as soon as you hit that top of that movement, get back down into the next rep.
Slap. Slap. Slap.
And as you can see, we're going into a drop set here. Another thing I want to mention about the leg press is you don't need that much weight if you're doing it correctly. The most I will do on a leg press is maybe 5 or 6 plates a side. With this range of motion, anywhere from 8 to 20 reps, depending on the weight. On this specific leg press, it's a little bit different in the way it moves, and I also haven't done leg press in a long time, so I'm only doing 4 plates here. And then this is the drop set, so I took 2 plates off of it, so this is now 2 plates. You do not need to go heavy on leg press. You need to just perform the movement right, and that weight will feel heavy when done correctly. That's going to save you from knee problems, hip problems, injuries, all that stuff. So please try not to go heavier than necessary on the leg press. So I actually ended up doing 4 sets on leg press here. So like I said, I want 9 sets total for quads. So I did 3 leg extensions to start, and then I did 4 leg presses. So there's 7 sets right there, and I will end with 2 more leg extensions. I did make the last 2 of these a drop set just because it was feeling really good on my quads. It was really hurting, and I wanted to do another drop set because it hurts and it feels good to do. If your guys' training is feeling a little bit stale or boring, I would highly recommend just switching some things up. Even if it's as simple as adding in drop sets or cluster sets, or I had been doing hack squats for a long time, so today was my first time doing leg press in a long time, so it felt really good. But always be looking for ways to improve your training, not necessarily change your training. That's always a great thing too. Change is always a good thing. So just be looking for ways to, I guess, switch things up and make sure you're not just stuck in the same pattern for every session you do.
Slap. 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 Slap.
All right, next movement is a standing one leg hamstring curl. I started this clip a little bit late because I was doing some reps and it didn't feel good, and I adjusted the machine a couple times, so this is kind of like the last few reps of the set. But this is a really great machine if you have one, for really focusing in on one hamstring at a time. I find it better than doing one leg on a seated or lying hamstring curl. This gym does not have a seated hamstring curl, so that's why I have multiple gym memberships, because sometimes I really want to use a seated ham curl. But anyways, yeah, this is really good. Same thing here, you want to make sure you're really driving your hips into the pad, focusing again on that hamstring. Another thing I find that's been helping with my hamstring connection is pointing my toes up in all of my hamstring movements. That just helps kind of stretch out that gastrocnemius and soleus, or your calf, which is connected up there with the hamstring and kind of works in a pair with it as an agonist muscle. So give that a try and see if you like it. I think you will, and it will improve your hamstring training.
Slap. 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 Slap.
All right, full on working sets on the leg extensions. This is where shit gets real. This is the last 2 sets of my leg day, so I'm just gonna make sure I give it everything I have left. This is a little bit less than the full stack, so a little bit lighter than previous, just because I cannot lift a full stack for good sets after how tired my legs are. As you can see here, again, I'm really focusing on the top of my quads where that rectus femoris muscle originates, squeezing that as hard as I can. And then again, just honestly letting my form break down as I get pretty close to failure, because I can get more out of my muscles at the end when I'm not using perfect form, and that is just going to get me a little bit past failure, which in my opinion is better than using perfect form for every rep and then just stopping when you can't get a perfect rep. I think most people will agree with that. And then we are going to superset this with sissy squats until failure. If you don't know what a sissy squat is, essentially you're just driving your knees forward with all of your body weight and then extending through the legs and through the quads. Again, this is literally just pretty much all quads here. And as you can see by my last rep, I cannot get up using just my legs. I gotta help myself up.
Slap.
All right, last thing I want to say before this workout is over, this is my last set here, is do not stop your set because it hurts. Do not stop your set because you're tired. Stop your set because it's finished, because you can't move your muscles anymore. That is failure. That is where you're going to get growth. If you're doing anything less than that, you're just being a little bit of a pussy. So train hard, train smart, and get bigger. And one more thing here, when you see me take a break without getting my legs out of the machine, that is just an intensifier. By doing this, you're keeping that stretch in your quad, which makes it harder for the lactic acid to leave your legs. Lactic acid is that substance that builds up in your in your muscles when they're being used. That's what creates that burning feeling. As you can see, I'm pretty uncomfortable here because I don't get the relief from that burning feeling. And this just has studies behind it that show that having lactic acid presence in the muscle is good for hypertrophy. Hypertrophy meaning increasing muscle size. So why wouldn't I want to do that?
Slap. Slap.
All right, the mirrors in here make my legs look tiny for some reason. It's a little frustrating, but look how lean they are. We're 7 weeks into the cut. About 10 of those days have been not on the cut because I'm not taking this too seriously. I'm not in prep or anything, so I've still been enjoying food here and there. I'm down about 12 pounds, and this is kind of, I mean, my legs lean out really fast, so it's not too impressive. But because I did have a little bit of a leg injury towards the end of my bulk, I had to stop training legs as the way I wanted to, so I did lose a little bit of size. But that size actually has come back on the cut. So I think my legs right now are honestly the best they've ever been. So I'm looking forward to hitting a good bulk come July. This cut's not going to go on too much longer. I kind of like the weight I'm at. I'm going to stick here for a little bit and get just a touch bit leaner for summer.